Apparently the Lakers could have gotten Lowry if they had traded Talen Horton-Tucker, and then I'm guessing Schroeder and KCP to make the money work to the Raptors. Now, Windhorst said that he thought that the Lakers were more of a smokescreen. Shams said it really could have happened if they included Horton-Tucker. I'm going to choose to listen to Shams on this one. Maybe I'm wrong for that. But then it becomes a thing of, well, do you move a young guy to maximize the title chances with LeBron and AD right now? And you also have to care about re-signing Lowry after that. So apparently you wanted, $25 million per year for 2 years? You think about depth, especially given that their injury thing is the thing right now with LeBron and AD out. And I think you also got to remember that Schroeder is kind of young. He's 27, 28. I mean, in theory, you could keep him for a while, and he could hopefully be the third guy with LeBron and AD. But there's already news about how they're struggling to come to an agreement on a contract extension for Schroeder. Also, I'm just kind of the mindset that if the Lakers have cap space, they're going to get somebody. And if you think about the Lowry signing for 2 years, because that's apparently the contract that he would want, that came out like a week ago or something, then when he was gone, you would have money to get somebody again. I mean, the only guy that they've committed to outside of LeBron and AD is Kuzma, and his contract's only $13 million. Also, he would be a trade asset if you really needed to get another point guard when Lowry was gone. They would also still have Montrez as a trade guy, so let's say they had traded for Lowry, you fast forward a year, they start thinking, well, we're going to have to get the next point guard if Lowry's going to retire or whatever. And well, you got Montrez's 9.7 expiring. Could probably help you out to get somebody. And maybe they would have even been able to keep this year's pick while getting Lowry. I don't know. Maybe they would have had to shuffle around the protections, but if they would have been able to still use this year's pick, like at the draft, whether it's trading it or actually drafting somebody, that would have helped. I think I would have done it. Now for Miami, I was cool with them keeping Hero, because I think Hero is just better than Tucker. And when I think about some Lowry, AD, LeBron, Montrez, seems like they're going to get Drummond here. Is Gasol still in the rotation after that? I don't know. Caruso, Kuzma still there. I feel like that's enough, man. I think Lowry himself is better than Schroeder and KCP, even if you're going to get KCP from last playoffs. And in the case of Horton-Tucker, I mean, I'm not even sure he was going to get real minutes in the postseason. I mean, he had one game against the Rockets, and yeah, he was good, but it's a lot different than a reliable, I don't know, at least 15 minutes a game, playoff game after playoff game. Now, maybe I'm just wrong on Horton-Tucker. Cool. The other thing to think about is what would their depth be like given that LeBron and AD are hurt? Well, if you look at a recent starting five they had Schroeder and KCP. You're replacing Schroeder with Lowry. You can replace KCP with, Caruso. I think KCP is a better shooter, although for what it's worth, Caruso is shooting 40% from three this season. Not on a whole lot of attempts, but he is still shooting that well. So you got Lowry, Caruso. You're going to have Kuzma out there. They chose to have Montrez off the bench, but you can start Montrez, whatever you want to do. You still have Morris. We're assuming they're going to be players in the buyout market as well. I feel like it's a better team just because of Kyle Lowry, man. And then you got LeBron and AD eventually coming back, and I think it's definitely a better team because of Kyle Lowry. Now, the other thing to think about is, well, they'd have to pay Lowry. Well, if you erase KCP's future money and you add Lowry's 25, you're under the luxury tax. Hooray. And then you miss out on the rest of Talen Horton-Tucker's career, but look, I'm going to choose to be on the side of, it's fine. And there's a chance I'm wrong on that one. There's a chance Horton-Tucker ends up being awesome. Look, I see the shot creation skills, and we'll see if the outside shooting ends up really being a thing for him. I mean, in college, he was not good from three. Hasn't been good from three in the NBA so far, but he also hasn't played a whole lot of games. Played about 46 games in the NBA so far. And for what it's worth, assuming LeBron and AD come back and they're good to go in a relatively timely manner, the Lakers should still be fine. But I just think it could have been better with the Lowry move. I guess I just think about the Lakers in general, because I didn't really do a video about their health thing. I think the goal now is just to not be in the play-in tournament. Sure, they'd be fine, assuming LeBron and AD are back, or even if one of those guys are back. But it could just be an extra hurdle, and that's not fun, even if we would all still pick the Lakers to win the championship, assuming they're healthy. Or at least get to the finals. I think some people would pick the Nets to beat them, which I don't think is a crazy take. Anyway, if you think about some round one matchups for the Lakers, given that they're probably going to lose a few more regular season games here, although depending on when AD comes back, that'll help them out, obviously. LeBron a little longer. So if they get the Clippers in round one, then, well, that's kind of funny because they would technically lose home court advantage, but as we all know, they would not. If it's Phoenix, the Jazz, the Nuggets, whoever, then you're going on the road for a couple extra games, and again, it's just more difficult. Could be more of a grind than the bubble was, if you're going to be on the road for like every series until you face the Clippers. But even so, if LeBron and AD are back, they should be alright. I still would have done the Lowry trade.